So today's the day, everybody. I'm so excited and a little bit nervous because today is the day when I'm going to try and travel to Antarctica. I've got my ticket, I've kept it really safe so I don't lose it, and my boat did arrive. I'll show you that later. But before I set off on my journey, just like everything we do in school, I thought it would be a good idea to plan where I'm going. You know, like when we plan what we're going to build or we plan what our learning's going to be for the day. Well, I'm going to plan my journey to Antarctica. So have a look over here because I have got, I don't know if you remember it, but our big giant map from school. Now, we talk a lot about maps, but first of all, it got me thinking, what actually is a map? Well, we know that our Earth is a globe, so it's a sphere shaped like a ball. And a map is basically a flattened out version of that globe. So it's a big flat picture that can either be on paper or on our computers or our televisions or like this big map. And it's basically a flat picture of our Earth with all the different features. So if you have a look at this map now, have a chat to a grown-up if you're watching with a grown-up, or just maybe say out loud some of the things you notice on this map. So when I was looking at the map, I noticed there is a lot of blue on the map, and that's because our Earth is made up of lots and lots of water. And did you know that even underneath the water, really far underneath that we might not be able to see, there are some mountains and things underneath? That's how deep the Earth goes. So on our map we can see there's lots of water, and then there's also these different coloured sections. Now on our Earth we've got water and we've got parts of our Earth that aren't covered in water, and this is the land. So all of these parts are the land, and these parts of land have a really special name. They are called a continent or continents. Now, because that is such a special word, I've got my magic microphone. So I'm going to stand on a continent and I'm going to say the word again, continent. Now I'm going to whisper it, continent. Now I'm going to shout it really loud, continent. Fantastic. So that's one of our really important words, one of our key words, which is continent. And continent just means a large area of land. So we can see, I'll just put our label here, because we can see that we've got a few continents on this map, a few large areas of land. We've actually got 7, okay? So when I say continent again, I want you to say 7 and do that, okay? Because there's 7 continents. Are you ready? Continent. Fantastic. Continent. Brilliant. So in our Earth we have 7 continents. I'm going to jump around the continents. So one continent is called North America. Another continent is called South America. Number 3, Africa. Number 4, which is a really big continent, and that continent is called Asia. number 5, which is our continent that we live on, and that's called Europe. And where we live is a country in Europe, which is just here. Then we can go down over here to continent number 6, which is Australia. Now on this map it's called Australasia, but you'll recognise it, and what the word that we use for it is Australia. And then finally, continent number 7 on our map is this continent, Antarctica. And that's where I'm going to go, which is so exciting. So they are our 7 continents. And you can see that surrounding these 7 continents is all that blue. And that blue is all the different oceans. Let's see. Here's our next keyword, ocean. So let's get our magic microphone. Can you say ocean? Fantastic. Can you whisper it? Ocean. Brilliant. Can you say it really loud? Ocean. Awesome. Well done. Ocean. Ocean. Now, an ocean is really, really salty water. So if you've ever been swimming and you've accidentally swallowed a bit of the water, if you've been swimming in the ocean or in the sea when you've been on holiday, it tastes really salty. And we call that salty water saline water, which just means it's really, really salty. So the ocean is saline, salty water. So I'm going to have to travel through the oceans to get to Antarctica. And just like there are 7 continents around our Earth, all the oceans, we have 5 different oceans, okay? 5 oceans. So, when I say ocean, can you say 5? Are you ready? Ocean. 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 When I say continents, what number do we say? Continent 7. Well done. Fantastic. Okay, so our oceans are called the Atlantic Ocean. So you can swim in the Atlantic Ocean. We have the Indian Ocean. We have the Pacific Ocean. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then up towards the North Pole, where it's really cold, we've got the Arctic Ocean. And then down to the bottom, we have the Southern Ocean, which is really close to Antarctica. So when I'm travelling, I'm going to have to travel through the Atlantic Ocean, through near to the Indian Ocean, and then through the Southern Ocean to get to Antarctica. Okay, so in order to plan my route to Antarctica, I need to think about what direction I'm going to go in. So I'm going to use this big long piece of string to split our Earth into different parts, because this will help me decide what direction. So I'm going to put it all the way down the middle this way first. So move it along here, because first of all we have the the north, which is at the top of the globe, so the top of our Earth, which is where we have the North Pole. And then all the way down, so as we travel down, we're travelling south. So that's the direction we're going in. So when I get to Antarctica, I will be at the very bottom. So I will be at the South Pole. So there's our label for the south. And here is our label for the north. Because towards the top, we have the north. So as you move up, you're going north. But if you move in the other direction, in the opposite direction, you're travelling south. So if I start here in our country, because all of these continents are split into lots of small parts and they're called countries. So our country is here and we have the United Kingdom, and in the United Kingdom we have England, which is where we live. So if I'm going to start in England and I need to travel down, oh well, I won't be travelling that way because I'm in my boat, so I'll be travelling down here, and I'm using that word down because I'll be travelling towards the, fantastic, I'll be travelling towards the south. So I'll be travelling away from the north and towards the south, and I'll be travelling to the very, very most southern point, which is the South Pole. So if we imagine that this is me in my boat, and we're going to start here, and the direction is south, not north, because if I was travelling this way, I'd be going to the north, but I'm not. I'm travelling all the way through the Atlantic Ocean, down towards the Southern Ocean, and then to the South Pole, which is Antarctica. So I will be travelling southwards. There we go. And when I get to Antarctica, I will be at the bottom of our globe, of our Earth, and I will be in the very south, the Antarctica. Now, lots of you, when you were helping me pack my suitcase, told me that I needed lots of warm clothes and lots of warm things to keep me warm. And that's because you were right. Antarctica is a very, very cold place. Now, Antarctica has animals that live there, but there aren't really any humans that live there because people can't really live there because it is so cold. And what are some of the features of Antarctica? It's made of lots of ice and lots of snow, it is. And the mountains there are very, very icy iceberg mountains. Why is it so cold there though? We know that it's at the very, very southern point of our globe. But we also know that if we were to go to the North Pole, where Father Christmas lives, that's a very, very cold place as well. So why are there such cold places? Have a think. Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to get my special string again, because halfway, or about halfway, around our globe, around our Earth, there is an invisible line. So we're going to imagine that this is the line. And that invisible line is called the equator. So let's get our microphone again. I'll say it and you repeat it. and I'm going to walk along it as I say it. Remember, it's invisible. So even though we can see it on here, that's just to show you. But really, you can't really see it. So I'm walking along the equator. You say it? Fantastic. Equator. Equator. And I'm going to walk all along it. Do you think I can walk backwards along it? Let's go again. Equator. Got to really concentrate. Equator. Equator. Fantastic. And the equator, this invisible line, goes across the middle, and basically any places, any countries that are close to the equator are really, really hot because it's the centre of our earth, so they're really, really hot. But the further away you travel, the colder it gets. So all of these continents, these parts of the continents, these countries that are north are very, very cold. All the countries and continents that are towards the south are very, very cold as well. Because remember, on a globe, Antarctica would be right at the bottom, so it would be further away from Australia. It would be right down at the south. So that's why Antarctica and the North Pole are such cold places, because they are so far away from this special line called the equator. And that's why there's lots of snow and lots of ice there as well. Okay, so let's see if we can use some of the words and language that we've learned today to describe my journey to Antarctica. So, we're going to start off on this continent, which is Europe, because England is a country on this continent. So we're going to start off in England, which is a country, and England is on the continent Europe. And we're going to travel south to another continent, which is Antarctica. Okay, and we're going to travel through the Atlantic Ocean down towards the Southern Ocean where Antarctica is. I'm going to draw with my pen the route. We're going to go, remember that invisible line called the equator? So it might start to get really, really hot and warm around here, and still nice and hot here. But then the further away from the equator, the colder. So now I might start to see some icebergs in the Southern Ocean and some snowy mountains. And then I will get to Antarctica here. So, here I am in my little boat. I'm going to start in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm going to travel where it's nice and hot, nice and warm. So I might need to take some sun cream for this part of my travels. But then, the further away, the more south I get, the colder it's going to get. I might start to see those icebergs. I might start to see some of those animals that live in Antarctica and some of the whales that live in the Southern Ocean. And then I will get to the very southern point where the South Pole is, to the continent Antarctica. Wish me luck, everybody. I'm so excited. I'm going to go and pack my suitcase now because I've been looking at all your suitcases you've sent me, so I think I know what to take. Then I'm going to get my boat and set off to Antarctica. When I'm there, I'll send you a quick video to show you what it's like there. Bye, everybody.